Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Brother Minister Cepeda. And if you guys are new to the channel, please visit my website at treeoflifeoutreach.com. Be encouraged by the bio. Definitely read the bio and pass that word of encouragement on to those that you know could use added inspiration and added motivation. If the story doesn't fit your particular points of view in life, that's okay. It's not for everybody, but at the end of the day, it's still good old-fashioned inspiration. So if it's not for you, perhaps you know someone that could benefit from it. I certainly don't know of very many people who could benefit from not having added inspiration and motivation in these particular days and times. Now, it's a holistic ministry, and it's designed to provide nourishment for your mind, your body, and your spirit. So today's topic is going to be something that relates to the actual body. And as you know, your body is the temple. Again, go to the website. I am ISSA certified fitness trainer, all natural professional bodybuilder. I've actually won pro cards in 4 of the all natural bodybuilding all naturally sanctioned bodybuilding organizations, IFPA, WNBF, and so forth and so on. So today's topic is, again, we're going to talk about the body. We're going to talk about the most common thing that guys are typically interested in, which is typically the biceps. Sometimes it's chest, but usually guys want huge arms. And having competed since my first show in 1987, actually in 1988, and having won shows periodically over that period of time, all natural, of course. I get these questions, and having done those shows, there are several times that I have won best arms in the show. So again, if you go to the website, read the bio, scroll down to the services, at the very end of the page, there's a link that will take you directly to the physical fitness arm of the ministry. So do that. There's some more information on there that's kind of mainstream, but a little bit of it does have my own perspective and my own thoughts on various topics, including nutrition and exercising. Now, if there's anything specific that you want, then my contact information is on the website as well. You can call me, you can text me, you can send me a email, and I will respond with something a little bit more specific to you, what it is you're trying to achieve with your fitness goals. The information I'm going to provide is basically no frills, no thrills. It's just straight, good old-fashioned exercises that actually help you get those bigger arms. Sometimes ladies want bigger arms as well. Not very many of them obviously want the more masculine type arms, but there are some who compete in women's bodybuilding and they want them huge biceps as well. So this information is just going to touch on the best exercises. I don't put all of my secrets. As a matter of fact, I don't put any of my secrets out there. Obviously, I give those to my paying clients. But just having this information here is going to have you be light years ahead of someone who does not have this information. So be encouraged to use this information, and be encouraged to contact me if you want something more specific, more detailed, and more comprehensive for you and what it is that you'd like to achieve. So I get that question again all the time. How can I get these big biceps? How can I get these huge biceps? And then I also get the question about how I can get better biceps. And there is a difference. Obviously, those of you who've been working out for a while know this, and for those of you who are just getting started, perhaps you don't, but that's okay. We all didn't know at some point, and we all was just getting started at some point. So I'm going to give a little bit more information. I'm going to give a little bit information about the both of them. And I'm going to title this video, Bigger and Better Biceps. Because as you know, you can have bigger biceps, but they may not be the best. quite often someone who doesn't have the bigger biceps can oftentimes have the best biceps. The same thing with legs, back, abs, and anything else. I mean, it may not be bigger, it may not be as pronounced as the next guy or the next girl, but yours are head and shoulders above theirs because you've done a lot more detailed work and you've kind of filled in the blanks, so to speak, whereas the other guy who just built this massive body part, or the other girl just built this massive body part, and yours may not be as massive, but you've took the time out to do some exercises and some routine that allowed you to better sculpt, better tone, to work on your tie-offs, your separations, your fullness, and things of that nature. So for bigger, better biceps, obviously, for me and for most guys, I think, is going to be the good old-fashioned barbell curl. Standard barbell curl, and this is with the long bar. This is going to be my number one recommendations for really, really getting the bicep. You want to just have huge biceps. This is one of my number one recommendations, the absolute number one recommendation that I have to get your overall biceps massive. Now, as an aside, and I also digress here just for a moment, the key to having bigger and better arms does not lie necessarily in the bicep, because as you know, your tricep is 1.5, 2.5 times as big as your biceps. So the key to having either bigger arms all around, and the key to having better arms all around, in my view, and I've also judged shows as well, in my view, it's going to come from your tricep development. So having said that, I am going to do a separate video about best exercises for triceps, and I'm also going to do another video about the best exercise, how to put these exercises together for bigger and better arms as a whole. Again, some guys, they don't know this about the importance of the tricep. Some guys do know this, but they're not necessarily interested in focusing on it. They want huge biceps. Now, someone can have bigger arms, but still have smaller biceps. Someone could have bigger arms and actually have bigger biceps. So let me correct that. Someone can have smaller arms than someone who has huge arms, but the guy with the smaller arms can have a bigger bicep. So even though overall his arms are smaller than the other guy, his bicep is actually bigger. So if you measure bicep, just bicep to bicep, he has a bigger bicep, but the other guy has bigger arms. So that's why I broke these down and said I'm going to do one about biceps, then I'm going to do one about triceps, and then I'm going to do one about how you can put these exercises together and achieve bigger and better arms as a whole. So for now, we're just going to stick to biceps. And as previously mentioned, barbell curls is the number one that's going to give you that overall size, that overall thickness, and the overall strength and power as well. So you want to get them babies big and strong. You want to start with the long bar, standard shoulder width barbell curls. Now, I am also a huge fan of the easy bar curl for size. The difference with the easy bar curl, the easy bar standard curl, sitting or standing. Well, let's do standing, because when I do my other video and I talk about bigger and better arms as a whole, then the sitting barbell curl and the sitting easy bar curl can be used to do more sculpting and to do more detailed work on your biceps. So we're going to stick with just standing, and I'll go into that in the other video. So we're just going to start talk about standing, barbell, and easy bar curls. The easy bar curl is going to allow you to put more definition into your arms, just because of the way that it's shaped. It's not straight. It doesn't seem like it makes much of a difference, but just having that little bend allows you to, that little bend in the bar allows you to activate slightly different muscle fibers in those arms. And as we know, the human body is riddled and laced from start to finish with muscle fibers. So anytime you can change anything, no matter how minute it seems, you're always doing something else. So if you have the seat here, you have it there, you have your feet here, you have it there, you have your hands here, you have your hands there, whatever. You're always activating slightly different muscle fibers. And this is what's going to make the difference between two guys who's standing on stage, or two girls who's standing on stage, or two guys or girls standing on the beach. And they look incredible, but one looks, she's got that about her, because she's got more details, she's got more muscle separation, she's got better tie-offs in her muscles and her development. So the easy bar curl can also be used to build mass on those guns, but it's going to also allow you to build a little bit more definition and touch a little bit more on the upper and lower bicep, as well as the inner and outer bicep, depending on your hand grip. And we'll get into that when I do the more informative breakdown of the arms taken as a whole. So now we're just focusing on the bicep. So that'll give you a reason to check back to the channel and look for that other upcoming video. So we have the barbell curl, and we have the easy bar curl, and we're talking size. And then we're talking the standard dumbbell curl, just a standard dumbbell curl. I prefer that you do them, baby, simultaneously, because we all have, just based on our natural genetics, a guy typically has one arm slightly bigger or slightly smaller than the other, slightly more developed, slightly smaller than the other. Sometimes it's true in legs, and it's always definitely true in women and females and the size and the shape of their breasts. One's always a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, shaped a little bit different, what have you. And this can be exacerbated if you're doing them one at a time, because you're putting focus on that particular arm. And if you're doing them simultaneously, you're just kind of focusing on both of them, and you give them a chance to flow in a more natural balance and a more natural rhythm, as opposed to you focusing on that one. It's going to take its natural course, and this one's going to take a different natural course. So do them at the same time as best you can, and obviously we want to break them down at times and do them one at a time, but I'll do a video. All of that information will again be included in the video about bigger and better arms. So those are my top three for bicep thickness, bicep size, bicep overall bicep development, and bicep strength. Okay, now we want to talk about the length of your arms, because obviously you just don't want to have a peak. You just don't want to peak. You just don't want to peak. You want length as well. You want length as well. So my number one to build that length on your bicep, to get that baby long and full to where it's not just a peak. You see some guys on stage and they look phenomenal. But again, when you look at him or her, and if that's all they have is a peak, it's not going to compare to the guy who has a nice full bicep, obviously. So for length, good old-fashioned hammer curls, and I would advise that you guys do them both, where you just come where your forearms are parallel to the floor, and then you come where you bring them babies all the way up to your chest. Now you can alternate these particular movements per per session, per time that you hit your biceps, or you can do it in session. So you do one, if you're doing 4 sets, you'll do 2 where you just come where your arms are parallel to the floor, and then you'll do 2 where your arms go all the way up. I prefer personally, not that it really matters, just my personal preference, I prefer to dial in on 1 per session, okay? And the difference is when you're going parallel to the floor, you're going to really put the emphasis on the middle part of that length. And when you're going all the way up, obviously you're going to be extending the length to make sure you're topping off the top and the bottom of the bicep. So again, there's tricks to this, and we call them secrets, guys, for a reason. So anything you're seeing in the book, not saying it's not high quality information, this is high quality information, but it's not a secret. If it's in a book, then it's not a secret. The real secrets of this stuff is not in the books. It's not online. If you're paying a high quality trainer, then you can get those secrets. And the unfortunate thing about that is when I see trainers nowadays, most of them are very, unfortunately, they're not real high quality. They can go online and get a certificate and say they're a trainer. And they have you doing routines that you can basically go online and download and do them yourself. So that's no knock against the trainers, but it is the truth about the trainers, unfortunately. Not all of them, obviously. There's some good trainers out there, some who have the experience, some who have the actual hands-on experience, and they do a great job. And but just beware, just beware, okay? Okay, so we got my hammer curls on there. And the same thing is true, as we talk about length, the same thing is true when it comes to on that preacher bench. Do your hammers on the preacher bench sometimes. And you do the same thing, partial reps. We'll go into the benefit of partial reps and full reps. And again, you can go session by session with partial, and then the next session is all full, or you can do set by set where you alternate them. But do them babies on the preacher curl, because the difference, once again, is going to allow you to touch all the way up in here to where you get a nice tie off, to where you guys know what tie offs are. If you're just new to this, the tie off is where one muscle just curves right on into another muscle, and it curves right on into another muscle, and there's a line that's taking everything right on into something else. So this can allow you to hit your tie-offs while continuing to work on the length of those babies. You get your tie-offs, okay? Everything just flows right on into another muscle, okay? So you can do your hammer curls on the preacher curl bench, okay? Also, I'm a huge fan of full length pull-ups. Full length pull-ups where your hands, where your palms are facing each other. Full length pull-ups where your arms are facing each other. All the way down, all the way up. Really stretch that bicep out. Really give you that length, which you want your muscles to be long and lengthy. You want the ball, you want the peak, but you don't want a peak sitting on something that's basically vague or empty. So those are my top 3 to really work on the length of those biceps, okay? Now for the peak itself, I got some secrets about the peak that, again, I'm not going to put on here, but it doesn't take away from the fact that this is high quality information that will definitely serve you impeccably well. It's definitely high quality, but again, secrets are passed down from word of mouth, from generation to generation, or from a paying client or a very skilled trainer to a paying client. So I don't put my secrets out there. If it was secrets, guys, it wouldn't be in a book. That's just the way this thing works. and I'm hoping that you guys, and I'm trusting that you guys understand that. So when it comes to peak, actually when it comes to all this information, guys, there are secrets to this. There are secrets to this. Now, if you want to be like everybody else, then you train like everybody else. But if you want to be more, then you have to do more. And you can't do more unless you know more of what it is you need to do. So, sequencing, exercise sequencing, frequency, intensity, duration within that frequency, all these things play a role. And again, I don't have all the answers. Clearly, I don't have all the answers. But the answers that I do have are doggone good, and they've been tried, tested, proven, and refined with almost 44 years of hands-on weightlifting myself. I'll be 54 in just a couple short weeks. I picked up my first set of dumbbells at the age of 10. And I've been lifting consistently since then. So, and that's injury-free. I've trained tons of clients from Missouri to Illinois to Georgia to Indiana. And again, I preference that, and I'll conclude that by saying I don't know all the answers, but the ones that I have, you can count on. Okay, and that's not saying this is the only way to skin a cat. There's some guys who do things totally different. It works extremely well for them, and I salute them for that. But just like him, all I can give you guys, all I can talk about is what's worked for me and my clients over these years. And some of the stuff he may tell you to always do, I may tell you to never do. And some of the things I may tell you to never do, he may tell you that you should always be doing. So what works for him, I don't know. That's his thing. You know, I've trained trainers, and some of the information I've gotten from them have helped me evolve and develop my own training system, and vice versa. But at the core of my system is my system, and it evolves around good old-fashioned bodybuilding techniques, because it's not just for bodybuilders, it's for anybody of any age who simply wants to build their body. So that's the crux of my stuff. I don't get into any of the trendy new age stuff that looks very impressive, but I've seen all the different fads and trends come and go, and at the end of the day, what's always worked, what's always been there, is good old-fashioned bodybuilding exercises. So that's what I stick to. So as we transition from that right on into what do you want to do for that peak on your bicep, you want that peak, guys. You want that peak. Okay? You want that peak. Okay? You want that. Okay? And without putting my secrets out there, obviously, you want the preacher curl, not doing hammers, for your peak. That's going to give you the length. You want to be doing standard preacher curls. The preacher curls, get on that baby and try and hammer them out simultaneously with dumbbells if possible. Okay? You want to also hit your concentration curls. Obviously, these are done one at a time, one arm at a time. You want to hit them babies. And then for your peak, you can also do partial pull-ups. Partial pull-ups. So you get up on that baby, you come down to just about parallel. I mean, to say 70% at the bottom, and you come up to about 70% of the top. So you're not going all the way down, and you're not coming all the way up on your pull-ups. You're going about 70% down and 70% up. So if the height is all the way, your height as far as you can get is up there, then you want to go 70%, about right there. If the lowest you can get is there, then you want to go to 70% to about right there. And you want to keep all that pressure and all that contraction right there on the biceps. This is one of my favorites. This can really, really help you guys not only hit that peak, but also give you that separation in your lower and upper bicep. Okay, it's excellent for working and developing your forearm area as well. So definitely do those and zero in on that peak, and that'll help you tremendously. Now we're talking about bigger and better, so we can't go on without talking if we're talking about bigger and better, we got to talk about separations. I can afford to get a little bit leaner. This is my off-season weight, guys. So some of my separations are not necessarily showing up, obviously, as crispy and clean as they are when I get ready for a photo shoot or get ready for a competition, which the competitions, I don't know when they're scheduled to resume again. It's already been a few years since I've been on stage, and this is the year that I'm scheduled to get back on stage, but then we had this so-called pandemic, and I don't know what the schedules are looking like. I need to hear back from my sponsors and my endorsements as far as my modeling. So, but obviously when I get leaner, you guys know how that works. You'll be able to see these separations a lot better. So you want to do the drag curls for separations, and you want to do your drag curls relatively close. Not close because they'll put some pressure on your wrist that you don't want, but as close as you can go without you feeling that pressure, and you do your drag curls. You guys know what those are. You pull those babies up to about waist high or belly button high, and you release. Belly button high and then release. Okay, and there is that's a secret. Can't tell you that one, but that's a phenomenal one, and this can give you guys that setup, that separation between your bicep heads, so you can get on stage and or go to the beach or just whatever your thing is, just walking around and feeling good about yourself. You can know that you have a nice separation in between your bicep right through there, and so that's one of my number one recommendations, that drag curls. Also, you can do those dumbbells with your pinky face it up and out. So instead of the standard dumbbell curl, you can do them babies where you really just turn that pinky up again. Mindful of your wrist, don't overturn your wrist, but so you're bringing that baby up and you turn them at the same time. Basically palms up and wrist without putting pressure onto your wrist by overturning up, pinkies up to the ceiling or pinkies out to east and west. Okay? But you don't want to overdo it with your wrist and start focusing more on your wrist than you are on simply just turning that pinky. Okay? Excellent for getting that separation right down the middle of them babies. And then you can do the one-arm spiders. I love these. The one-arm spiders or the one-arm hammers, where you get the dumbbell, you hold it palms down, one dumbbell right in the middle of your palms, you keep your palms flat, you go down to the dumbbell was about waist high, you bring it up to where it's basically at the bottom of your chest. So it's a very small range of motion down to about your waistline. As long as your palms, when you go down, your palm stays facing up. So it's a very short range of motion. And then you come up to where your palms are still facing up. You don't want to go there, and you don't want to go there to where your palms are facing down. You want to just keep your palms facing up. You want to go down and up, down and up. And those are incredible for adding to that separation as well. And of course, you could do, I said spiders on those. Those are actually one-arm hammer curls, as I've coined them, or as I refer to them as. And then you have the spider curls where you're on the bench, leaning over as if it was a preacher bench, and you're doing the same move with your pinky fingers, okay? Okay, so if you have any questions about these, again, my contact information is there. You can leave me a comment. And by the way, definitely subscribe, hit the like button, and check out the website. But yeah, so you have the spiders, where you're leaning forward over a incline bench, and you are pinky up on those spiders instead of doing the regular spider curls. You're doing pinky up, turning, pinky up, turn, pinky up, turn. Okay, and then you got just making sure I hit these because there are so many others that I do that I want to make sure that I stay to this script because I will accidentally divulge some information that are some of my secrets and are strictly for our paying customers, paying clients. So then you have the drag curl, you have the drag curls, you have the standing regular dumbbell pinky up, and you have the spiders with the pinky up, and then you have the one arm hammer curls. All these things plus additional others can give you a nice cut down the middle of your biceps. Now most people are not even interested in all this stuff. Most people just want good arms. But if you are one of those who are interested in the details and you are interested in dotting all the I's and crossing all your T's, then this is the type of information that's going to put you ahead of the person who looks great, shredded, lean, strong, and they're going to turn some heads. But if you want to be the guy who turn the heads of the guys who turn heads or the girls who turn heads, then you want to always sweat the small stuff. Different angles, different leg and foot and body positions, different height, different declines. And you can really, really set yourself up for an advantage that when you walk into the room, you'll be the one turning the heads of all those who turn all the heads. So that's what I have for you guys. Be encouraged to know that I am a huge fan of all natural bodybuilding and all natural living, all natural lifestyle. I'm a huge fan of that. That's what I'm about. That's what I promote. That's what I support. And don't get me wrong, there are those out there who take steroids and things of that nature, but I don't knock them. That is their life. They have every right to live their life any way they choose, just as I do. And just as you do, we all as adults have the right to choose to live our lives in a way that we feel is okay for us. So I don't knock those guys because even though they take those steroids, they can't just take those steroids and then go home and go to sleep. They have to bust a you know what. And so I've trained clients, professional clients who take steroids. And I can appreciate the hard work that they put into it. Having said that, me myself, I've always been an all natural liver, all natural lifter, and I encourage you guys to stay all natural. To me personally, it's kind of like you want to build, you want to make your car go faster, but you have to put sugar in the tank, so it may go faster. But eventually you're rotting out, you're destroying your engine. So that's my view on it, guys. So if you guys aren't taking any steroids now, then don't. And if you are and you feel like, you've thought about stopping, then stop. If you are and that's your thing, then that's your thing. Salute. I don't judge anyone. I'm just putting this out there for those who may be on the fence, and maybe there's some peer pressure going on. Maybe they feel like they can't get as big or as lean as they would like to, and they feel like they need steroids. You don't need them. You don't need them. My contact information is there. There's others out there who's promoting this all natural lifestyle, who have always been all natural, and you can find someone out there who can coach you and guide you through what it is that you need to do in order to attain the strength, the leanness, even such things like the endurance, the flexibility, and all these different things that you need. Because at the end of the day, guys, a drug by any other name is still just a drug. And that's what steroids is. So no offense intended, but I did intend to put that truth out there. So however you choose to be, if you're okay with it, doesn't matter what the next guy thinks. Live your life for you and those that you love and those that you care about, and not for anyone else's opinion. Okay, so that's what I have for you guys. Thanks for tuning in today. I finish every video the same, which is by saying, hey, look, I don't know all of y'all, but I do love all of y'all. That is as real can get, whether it sounds corny, whether it sounds soft, whether it sounds cliche-ish, whatever. That's the truth. That's number one. Here is another truth for which I live my life each and every single day. This is my mantra, and this is the way I live. And it works excellently for me. It works excellently for my clients and my students who come in. You guys know I do philosophical teachings, philosophical consultations, and the ISSA certified fitness training, and I also do clean-hearted spiritual teachings and practices. All that information is on the website. My point is that the second truth is, when you're feeling bad, go make somebody else feel good, and you'll feel better. I promise you. This is what's worked for me. This is what has helped me help my Heavenly Father. This is what my Heavenly Father has given me that actually caused me to get over the hurdles and the stumbling blocks of the information that's contained in my bio on the website. So this actually works, and I've been preaching this, and I've been espousing this, and showing, encouraging others to do this, and it's worked for them. Hundreds and hundreds of clients, whether they were fitness clients coming in for philosophical consultations or advice, whether they were just basically focusing in on their spirituality, whatever. It's worked, it's tried, it's tested, it's proven, and it's refined. So if you're feeling bad, don't go out there and try to project that onto someone else. No. The powers that be know that this is how this thing works, and they have us in a loop to where that's the way it works, unfortunately, where people are feeling bad, people are feeling unhappy, irritated, agitated. The first thing they'll do is they feel like they have to unload that, so they go try and catch somebody else and make them feel bad, project that out onto them. But what they're doing is creating within themselves a bucket with no bottom. Because the moment they pour that off on somebody else, it's right back. It doesn't do anything for them. They need to pour it off on somebody else because they haven't taken the appropriate steps in order to solve the issue. And they've simply pushed the issue onto someone else, and then the issue is right back onto them. So they didn't get anything. They didn't gain anything. Hence, the bucket without a bottom is always going to have water needed to be poured into it because it doesn't do anything for it. No, so when you're feeling bad, don't go make nobody else feel bad. Don't go project that out on nobody else. When you're feeling bad, go make somebody else feel good, and you'll feel better. Just like that. Just like that. That's just the way this thing works, guys. When you're feeling bad, go make somebody else feel good, and you'll feel better. Now, if you're already feeling good, and you go make somebody else who's feeling bad feel good, then you'll go from feeling good to feeling phenomenal. That's just the way this thing works, guys. That's just the way it works. So that's what I have for you guys. Be encouraged, be inspired, stay true to yourself, stay true to your dreams, stay true to getting it done by any and all righteous means necessary, and honoring the fact that there's a higher power, and through him we can do all things. So thanks again, guys. Have an incredible day. Bye.